And thanks so much. Definitely wrapping up things after day 2 of full padded practice here at TCO Performance Center here in Eagan. And for the Minnesota Vikings, a lot of familiar faces returning to the lineup, especially on defense, such as players like Anthony Barr. Even on the kicking side, Dan Bailey will be returning to the Minnesota Vikings for his second season. Now, Dan Bailey's been around the NFL for about 9 years, and although there's maybe not somebody here that's going to challenge him physically for the kicking spot, he knows that every single roster spot on the NFL is something that you can't ever take for granted.
The reality is there's 32 of these spots out there, and even though there's not somebody physically here that I'm competing against, that's a spot that I want to keep for sure. And so yeah, you're always competing against yourself. Don't think for 1 minute I'm taking any shortcuts or patting myself on the back like I've accomplished anything, because I certainly haven't. And that's the way I try to approach it every day, and just go out there and push yourself and aim for perfection. Understand that that's going to be a tough goal, but it's a good one to have. And at the end of the day, I hope that it's enough to keep one of those spots. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, the players will have a day off tomorrow. Good to get some time away, both on the body and the mind, to relax before they come back for a full practice again on Wednesday. Back to you guys. And what a night indeed it was here for the Minnesota Twins. They took the series opener against the Atlanta Braves by a 5-3 score in dramatic fashion. Miguel Sano providing the heroics with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. In pinch hit fashion, it was Michael Kadire back in 2006 against the Los Angeles Angels. It was the last Twin to get a pinch hit home run. And Rocco Baldelli said before tonight's game that Miguel Sano, who has matured so much as a player and just with his preparation, led him to the opportunity to provide the heroics in last night's game.
In the situation last night, Miggy was completely prepared to go out there and do what he did. He was of that mindset. He was actually talking about it during the game. He was about as ready to go up there and contribute to a win as you could ask a guy to be.
We knew. Miggy Sano doesn't pop out to the warning track. It's just not something he does.
Wow, what a moment for Miguel, too, coming off the bench and picking us up like that. I mean, that Martin guy's no joke either. He's got some good stuff. So big win for us against a tough team. What a way to start a series against those guys.
As soon as I hit the ball, I say, that's gone. The adrenaline and everything. As soon as I get contact, I say, damn, that's crazy, that's gone.
Now the Minnesota Twins, looking at last night's game, is just one more step towards their ultimate goal of making a postseason run. Now it's Jose Barrios on the mound tonight in Game 2 against the Braves, as the Twins look to stay perfect on their current 10-game homestand, as they're already 4-0. That's right, guys. Out here in St. Paul, where the Wild have indeed relieved General Manager Paul Fenton of his duties. Craig Leopold would even say that this timing of it was certainly not ideal. But over the last 14 months, since Paul Fenton was brought on to the Minnesota Wild staff, he felt like it was a culmination of smaller things, not necessarily one big thing, that got to the point where he needed to make a change.
The reason for the termination is not any one big issue, but it was over a time, smaller issues just were building up, and ultimately decided that this was not a good fit, that our organization and our culture were a little different than the way Paul wanted to handle things, and we just felt this was the time to do it, and we were going to move forward in a different direction.
Now, Craig Leopold did say that this mistake was on himself, and that to prevent things in the future, he's going to incorporate former NHL star Mike Modano in on the hiring process for the new GM. Meanwhile, while the team searches for the next permanent general manager, assistant general manager Tom Curvers will assume the role as interim general manager. Live outside the Xcel Energy Center in St. Paul, Nick Maxon, Fox 9 Sports. The Minnesota Twins have been knocking the cover off the baseball all season long. They have 241 home runs this season to prove it. But at times, the team has not gotten the hits when they needed them. The Bomba squad looking to get back into the win column tonight as they host the White Sox for game number 2 at Target Field. Top of the 5th, score tied at 3 with 2 outs, and Max Kepler looking to take advantage of a runner on first. First, it's a half swing, and then it should be an easy play to end the inning, and it's off the glove of first baseman Jose Abreu. He can't hold on to the baseball. J.K. moves to third, and this time the Twins are going to try to make the most out of their extra out. But hold on, it's the return of the squirrel from last night as he scurries right between the legs of Max Kepler at first. He scurries and runs all the way towards the White Sox dugout. Players don't seem to be fazed by his presence as he runs around for a few seconds before making his way out into the left field stands. You can see the fans looking to see where he is, and just out of the blue, he pops out and then scurries into the left field grass and scurries again towards the wall in left center field before finding that emergency exit. Nelson Cruz, then the next pitch, will double off the wall in right field. He will score 2 runs. The Twins open up a 7-3 lead. All 4 runs coming from the air at first base. As you can see, Nelson Cruz happy with that hit there. At the bottom of the 8th, Max Kepler hits a ball high off the wall in right center field. He will score C.J. Cron. The Twins go up 12-4. Jorge Polanco would add another 2-run blast, and the Twins even this series against the White Sox as they take this game by a final score of 14-4. Elsewhere in the American League Central, Cleveland taking on the New York Mets, tied at 2 in the bottom of the 6th, and it's Michael Conforto who hits a towering 2-run home run to right center field, and the Mets take the lead 4-2. The Mets would tear apart the Cleveland relievers that they take on 4 more runs in the 7th to make it an 8-2 ball game. The Mets close this one out and win it 9-2, and the lead for the Twins in the American League Central is now at 3 games. The Minnesota Vikings, now 2 preseason games in, are reaching the point here late in August where roster decisions are looming and jobs are being won and lost. A lot of attention has been paid to the wide receiver position since the start of training camp, but for the battle for the backup quarterback position has recently heated up, with both Sean Mannion and Kyle Sloter each showing promise. Both are happy with what they have shown so far, but head coach Mike Zimmer says they both need to show further improvement in their games to become the backup quarterback the team needs.
He's got to get a lot better in a lot of the other parts of being a quarterback, making the right checks, getting the people in the right formation, making sure the motion's there, not missing the time clock when it's 8 yards in front of you. There's a lot of things that he has to get better at if he wants to be the backup quarterback.
I feel really, really strongly that I've put my best foot forward every day since I've been here, and I felt great about my work in the spring. I felt great about my camp and my 2 preseason games so far. I'm not going to really worry myself with what other people are thinking. Like I said, I feel like I put my best foot forward, but those are other people's decisions. But I'm happy with what I've done so far.
Former Vikings kicker Greg Coleman held his annual celebrity golf tournament today at Bunker Hills, with the proceeds going towards the YMCA in the greater Twin Cities area. The tournament has been around for a number of years, and Coleman says it's always a joy to make a positive impact on children's lives throughout the community.
The core values of the YMCA, they're very, very much aligned with the core values of golf. So same church, different pew. Regardless to what vehicle you use to get to young people, you use it. In sports, it's been a vehicle. Sports and music, it's been a vehicle that's been used for ages and ages. It doesn't change. So if we can inspire one young person to change their life, to do something for the good, then everything and all of the effort that we have done over the last 21 years, it has not been in vain.
And that's your look at sports. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Nick Maxon. We'll have more on the show later on at 10 o'clock.